Guys, welcome back to another week of Autastic, your comedian's guide to autism. I'm one of your hosts, and my name is Kirk, and my co-host...
Graham K.
Boom.
Welcome back to another week, everybody. Big week in review this week coming up. JJ's birthday was what, on Friday? Last Friday?
Yes, it was the 2nd. Yes, Friday, 5 days ago. That's right. Yep, and I flew out there to surprise him.
Yeah. So, that's interesting. You surprised him, which means that they didn't show him on the calendar you were coming.
No, we showed. We had a discussion about it, too, because they, one time during COVID, now, granted, I've gone out to see him, I go 4 times a year, so for the last 3 years, I've gone out 12 times. One of those times, I didn't make it because of COVID, and the lady still remembers that and goes, remember that time you said you were coming and then you didn't come? He was really upset. And I go, yes, that was one time, though, and usually I come, so... So we did tell him. It was on the calendar. He's got a daily calendar. It's got little Velcro spots of what he's going to do the next day. So, like, it'll be like, Friday, you're going to go in the car to the little picture of a car, a little picture of a grocery store, a little picture of, whatever the activity is. So, for the week, he'll have, on Friday, they'll put a picture of me up, and it's one of my headshots, too. So, it's Kirk, like, smiling, like a crazy person. And so your dad's coming on Friday, so he's known it for a week, maybe a little longer. I've been telling him for a month, and it was good. We had a pretty good time. It's always these trips are always like just. It took me 24 hours to get home this time, which is like, oh my goodness.
Why?
Well, let me think. You go to the airport 2 hours before the flight because it's international, so I'm in 2 hours. Then it's an hour flight to Stockholm from Sundsvall, so I'm at 3 hours. 4 hour layover, so now I'm at 7 hours. Then I'm flying to London, 3 hours, so I'm at 10. An hour in London, 11. Flight's delayed 2 hours, 13. It's a 6 hour flight over. Was that 19? And then took me about an hour to get off the plane and then it's about 22 hours, altogether. It's just long. I tried to book more of a direct route, and then they changed it last minute. I hate it when they do that. They're like, your flight's been canceled, but don't worry, we booked you on a much less convenient one that you would have chosen yourself.
Yeah. Don't worry, we're going through Kathmandu. Yeah.
London's a nightmare. So. I lived in London years ago, and it's fine to live. It's okay, but that airport is the way it's set up is just. An hour's not enough time, usually. Just they've set it up so weird. You're taking a bus inside of London Airport, and you're just like, what am I doing? Yeah.
Yeesh.
Yes, not great. But we had a good...
The things we do for love.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, right?
I love that he knows you're coming and gets excited. I mean, it's like, I know we discussed it at the time, but when you didn't come because of COVID, you tried to come and then you didn't, for whatever reason.
There was a testing issue and it wasn't clear you could get the test in time. They routed me through another country, the same thing.
But it is just a nice thing that he looks forward to you coming and then got disappointed. He's not completely in the dark.
Yeah.
I think that's something. That's something that you wouldn't have expected him to be capable of when he was 10 years old.
It is funny that every time I have a talk with these aides, 2 of these ladies specifically, where I go, what should I bring him for his birthday? We have any ideas? And she usually says the same thing. He just really wants to hang out with you, and he'll be excited to see you. And it sounds really corny, but then when I get there, it's kind of true. Like whatever toys I get him, he'll kind of mess with a little bit, and then he wants to wrestle. Then he wants to get in the car and go do something. Then he wants to go just to hang out, just the boys. So... yeah, sometimes he'll grab the keys and then say goodbye to his aide. Bye-bye, like we're leaving. So we got important business to do. Bye-bye.
We got to go to IKEA and eat those meatballs.
No, this time we mixed it up a little bit. One of the aides is really good at pushing me a little bit to try new activities with him. I try, but sometimes it's like she'll be like, no, we'll feed him lunch here, and then he'll be fine for the food for the rest of the afternoon. I'm like, in theory, he'll be fine for the food, but that's not going to stop him from every stop asking me for an ice cream or wanting to. So it's like, she kind of romanticizes how the thing's gonna go. So I'm a little more pragmatic, and so we have these little discussions. But she's like, "Oh, you should take them." But not I let her win, but she won. I took them to there's a Christmas market, and if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I'm going to post his videos. I'm trying to have it edited a little bit, but there's a Christmas market similar to a German Christmas market where you've got like it's called a glug. It's like this sweet little drink they do in the winter. They've got a wine version and a regular, and it's very sweet. And then they've got it's just like the Christmas traditions from, I don't know, 500,000 years ago. So they have all these people. There's people singing. There's people, and it's outdoors. And he really liked it. I took him 2 days, actually. We went both Saturday and Sunday. And this is the first time I've taken him to that because it's only a couple times a year in that little town. And I just never, I don't know if I just happened not to nail it or maybe I did, but we didn't go but
You wouldn't, Kirk. You're not a guy that would think to do that.
that's true, but I'm always a guy who's trying to find stuff to do with him because it's like there's only so many
Well, she was right.
trips to
It's good that she
IKEA I could go.
suggested
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And so what? How do you know when you say he liked it? How do you know, and how does him liking something manifest itself?
That's a good question. He walked. There's a lot of walking, and so he didn't fight me on the walking. There was no parking at the main parking lot. It's like the whole town's out there, so we had to park like at some residential and then walk like, I don't know, 8 blocks, but 8 blocks through the snow. And sometimes he'll get a little a little fussy, and he didn't do any of that. He walked. He had his headset, his little phone and his earphones, but he walked. He then once he got to the thing, the layout of the thing is like these little, kiosks and little, I guess kiosks is the word. Little people selling meat and he walked the whole thing, which is probably a kilometer, half a mile or something, a little loop. He walked the whole thing. Well,
around each corner is a new delicious meat.
Yes,
and sweet drink.
Yes, but there was a lot of stuff he didn't like. They have all these exhibits of like, they've set it up to where it's like how the people used to live however many hundreds of years ago. So there's like a poultry thing with all these chickens, and he wasn't interested in any of that. So, but at the end, we did go to a cafe, and then, there's a huge line, and so I'm trying to be, you're trying to not be the ugly American, just cut. But he's like, he wants to see what there is. So then when he sees what there is, he points, so then I grab him something. So I'm like, okay, hold it. We're gonna wait in line. He eats the whole thing, like in 1 second. So now we're waiting in line to pay for something we don't have anymore, and it's going slow. And then he wants another one. Okay, so grab another one. That's 1 second of food. Now he wants another. Well, I can't have you eat 15 $2, because it's not. I don't want to say it's a ripoff, but it's not cheap. It's like, these are retail prices. So a cookie is $2, and they're doing it to support something, which is great. But I'm not going to buy, $30 in cookies in six minutes. So then we cut to the front of the line. I had cash. And I'm like, sorry, he ate this. Bye. We're leaving. I didn't wait for an answer. So it's like, yeah, he doesn't understand. Sorry, we have to go. We already ate it. And so, I gave him cash.
And they don't understand what you're saying, so it's just everything's confusing.
It's Sweden. They know too much. Yeah, those kids, those young girls working that thing that are probably, younger than him. Like, no problem, buy it. So, yeah.
That's what they said?
Yeah.
No problem, buy.
I mean, you could see him. He's like, as he's getting older, there was a tipping point where you couldn't tell he was severely autistic. And now as he's getting older, it's becoming... If you're like 15 and you've got this kind of vacant look in your eyes, you're just kind of bumping around into people, like not knowing your space. That's kind of what we all did. But then now he's 24 and he's still doing that. And so it's like, and then he's wearing sunglasses all the time. He's wearing his new thing is, I buy him these hats. He likes hats. So he's wearing a Bahamas hat, in the middle of Swedish winter, a cap, not a hat, a cap.
What about his ears?
I mean, he doesn't. That's another thing. He broke his door. He's got a door that faces his suite one of the sides faces to the outside. It's nice. So in the summer, you can open the door, and he doesn't really run away anymore. And he kind of broke that door. So the door doesn't quite close. It closes, but there's a
To the outdoors.
to the outdoors. There's a gap. Well, it was like 16 yesterday, which is like, minus, what is that? -8, -10. I'm translating for you, Graham. It was cold. And so I'm cold. So I've got 2 coats or 2 sweatshirts and a hat on indoors and wool socks. He's shirtless, wandering around. And then when he goes to bed, he doesn't want his blankets. He tries to open the window. Like, we're not opening the window. It's too cold. So, but he's like a little seal. He's built for the he's insulated. So he's, he doesn't get cold.
Yeah.
He's a little,
My brother doesn't get cold
he's a
either.
little Swede. And he's probably got 40 pounds insulation on him. My son does. Yeah. 'Cause I'm about,
Aren't there like mice coming through the crack?
No, and it's not like a crack at the bottom. It's like just the way the seal is. It's not completely sealed. And, when it's minus, it's not like freezing room, but it's probably like 65 or 60. I don't know. It's like,
Yeah, a little chilly.
it's a little chilly. It's not 20 degrees, but it's like, and they're like, yeah, the guy's coming to fix that. But it's funny because they've got this guy coming kind of on a schedule. There's always something to fix with this little man. So we did that. He really enjoyed it. So we went back and we did the lap again, which I thought was kind of fun. What else did we do?
Did you eat more cookies?
We stopped. We went to a different cookie place this time, and he wanted a boxed juice, which I'm like, what a rip! All right, it's $2 for a box of juice. Here you go. And but they're like this big, and he's got big hands, so it's like he's holding it like he's like Andre the Giant holding a can. And I'm like, that was worth $2. Like literally one little squeeze, he drinks the whole thing. Squeeze. I'm like, all right, that's done. Then we went bowling. I'm gonna try to post that video too. I'm gonna try. He's funny because he's clearly done it before. So he puts his fingers in the holes, walks up to the front line, squats over, puts both hands on the ball, and pushes it. So, but he liked.
That's what you do.
That's what you do.
Did he knock over any pins?
He had 1 strike and about 8 gutter balls, and then he was done. Yeah.
And no bumpers?
We didn't do bumpers. I wasn't sure if they wanted to. I hadn't taken him bowling in years, and I just wanted to kind of, let's just see if he is into it at all. And he's more into they had like this disco lighting, and there's kids, people his age, goofing around with each other. And he's like watching, see what's happening. So I think he liked it.
It's exciting. That's exciting. Yeah. I would watch that too. And it's funny that he has or interesting rather that he likes to wear the sunglasses. It might have something to do with the
It's a sensory thing, we've been told. Yeah. Like it. That's the same thing with the headphones. Too much stimulus.
Really, right. I never realized that until now. That's why Peter wears his sunglasses. He always has them. He has sunglasses clipped to his belt, and he never does not have sunglasses clipped to his belt. And that's something that no one taught him to do. He just sort of did it himself. And I was like, interesting. I guess that's like a little style thing. And I guess I'm too close that I didn't even realize. I'm so stupid. I just realized right now it's because of it. He has a sensory issue.
Yeah,
the lights are too bright everywhere.
And some kid, and with my son too, some of the fluorescent lights he doesn't like if there's a weird hum to it, or yeah.
I don't know. I know this podcast we joke about this is slowly me discovering I have autism, but my house is so I have lamps everywhere. No overhead lighting. I'm so sensitive to overhead lighting. I hate it. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. I think that everybody who owns a corner store or a 7-Eleven or a bodega does not have autism because they love bright, fluorescent, awful lighting. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Lighting was the other thing. I got him longtime listeners know I've talked about that M&M fan off and on for years that I bought him. I call it his favorite gift. It was like this handheld fan stuffed with M&Ms, and then on the fan thing there was LED lights on it, and I
Yeah.
bought 3 of them at Newark during I don't know when that was, years ago. Well, I broke down and I just went online and I ordered him some very similar non-branded fans. They were not M&M ones, but they were just whatever I could find. They were a hit. He set them up next to his bed.
Yes. Yes.
We got him a folding. There's this thing called, I'm going to have to look it up, Foursquare or something where it's like this. I saw an ad on, I think, Instagram where it's like these squares, and then inside there's smaller squares, and it's a piece of metal, and when you spin it, it like makes these, this is a terrible description, but it makes these like different size squares, and it's like a little, kind of like a math thing, and he really liked it. He really liked it. I'm trying to find him, analog things besides, I brought him a phone, besides a laptop, besides headphones, just little toys he can play with. Like,
You bought him a new phone too?
I bought him a new phone. Now the thing with the phone was we had a miscommunication with the aide. I feel like every time I go there's a miscommunication, but I go because I had said, oh, his phone's broken because the bottom of his phone is broken. I'll bring him a new phone. Okay, so we get there, and then I keep some clothes there because it's like I'm wearing turtlenecks. It's freezing. And I don't wear turtlenecks in New York, so I'm in the closet and finding my turtlenecks. And there's a phone down there, and it says JJ's phone, and it looks new. I'm like, oh, he has a phone right here. Yeah, he doesn't like that one as much. And so I'm like, oh, so he has 2? No, there's one in the office too. So he has 3 phones, and I just brought him another phone. Yeah, but the one he has, that's his favorite. I'm like, okay, but tell me that, so I'll stop bringing phones. He doesn't need another phone. So, and then so I brought him a phone he didn't need, but then on the opposite side, the headphones, I stopped bringing headphones because outside of his hallway to his room, he's got a coat rack, and there's 8 headphones on there, like all hanging up in order. He likes them in a certain order. And so I'm like, oh, I'll stop bringing him headphones. Well, one of the nights I was trying to listen to something while he's kind of winding down. So I'm like, oh, I'll use some of these headphones. None of them work.
Of course not.
And so then I go, none of these work. And they go, yeah, they're broken, but he doesn't want us to throw them away. I'm like, yeah, but but that would be a good thing for me to bring instead of a phone that he doesn't need because he has 3 other phones. So yeah, so next time I will bring headphones because he probably has, I'm not exaggerating, 50 headphones. There's probably 25 like wired cheap, you get them on airplanes, you get them on, just 25, cheap headphones. And then there's probably 10 over the ear. There's a Sony one there. It's kind of nice that he stole off me once. That's broken. There's a Kobe one he stole off me once. It's broken. And then there's some other, $10 ones I bought him.
Kobe.
COBY. It's like a simple brand. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was a learning experience. What else?
Well, they have earphones in Sweden.
Yeah, I got to bring him something though, Graham. I can't show up empty-handed. He goes through my bag. The first thing. That's his first thing. He goes through my bag. What'd you bring me, old man? No, but
so it's not just the hang. He looks forward to the presents.
I was kind of teasing. He looks forward to the candies. But part of it is like my mom always goes, oh, I'm going to send some money. So she'll send, let's say she sends $75 for his birthday, $75 for Christmas. So $150. So I'm like, okay, so a laptop's about $150. Then I need to buy, I can't buy him nothing. So then I'm buying him, a phone and a toys and this and that. And, I can't just bring him socks like a regular, neurotypical kid.
No, you shouldn't bring your kid socks.
Although he goes through them. It is funny though to get ready to go out. I'm wearing I had this long coat. I had a jacket underneath. I had a some sort of turtleneck thing, like a warm turtleneck, and then another shirt underneath that. Full hat over my ears. Double socks, and he's like wearing sweatpants, coat, and I try to zip it up. He's like, fine, I'll let you zip it up.
Yeah.
zip up the coat, and a ball cap and sunglasses. And then we get on the walk. He starts getting a little overheated, so he has to unzip the coat a little bit, let it air out a little bit. He's definitely Swedish.
Attaboy.
Took him bowling.
That's great.
I don't know.
Sounds like it was a great
It
trip.
was a good trip. I've got another update, but maybe we'll do it next week. I feel like I'm talking the whole time, but it's about going to the water park. We can save it for next week.
You can do it. We could do a JJ
All
episode.
right. So,
I honestly don't have a lot to talk about Peter other than he went bowling recently.
hey.
Yeah.
So we go to this water park. This is his third time going or fourth. I try to take him, because I'm trying to find things for him to do. I can't just take him to IKEA and Big Boy. Big Boy's the hamburger joint he likes, which is appropriately named. But we take him to this water park. It's got like a lazy river. It's got a surfing thing, but the surfing thing's always closed. It's got, well, when we go in the winter. In the summer, there's more to do. But the lazy river has these really powerful jets around the outside of it to make the thing move, and the thing moves pretty good. It's really nice. It's a public, it's Sweden, so it's a public, thing. There's a sauna, but he won't let me go in there. He doesn't like that. There's a few other little things. The only thing he really likes is the lazy river and the little kid slides, which he'll get on, but he barely fits, and so he has to like manually push himself down the slide, but he still insists on doing. So it's like, okay, as long as there's no kids, I'm like, that's fine. But he doesn't quite fit, so he doesn't quite slide. He has to like push himself down. Well, so listener alert, if there's little kids in your vicinity, you might want to fast forward the next 3 minutes. I'll give you 10 seconds here to get to your
3 minutes.
or I don't know, a minute.
Oh my god.
I don't know, but you might have
What's about to happen?
you might
to
have,
me?
have a rebuttal. You might want to talk about it too. But okay, so he's figured out that the jets, he can angle that towards his groin area, and it's going to feel good. And so, and he's a man, right? So it's not like he's a
Now I know why you were like, as long as there's no kids.
yeah, as long as there's no kids. So, we were going to go on Saturday, and I'm like, let's go on Monday. So we went on Monday. There's no kids. There's like 3 other old men in there.
Yeah, they're doing it too.
But I'm like, so we have this big kind of like, I don't mind if you like accidentally like angle by and it's a little longer than it should be, but don't hold it there, raise one of your legs, make eye contact with me, and just hold it. And I'm like, okay, we can't just sit here till you finish in the lazy river. And so we have this whole like, okay, that's good, you got to keep moving. And then he like thinks I don't understand. Like, Dad, you're an idiot. Maybe think of your bit with your brother where you're like, Graham, you dummy.
Yeah.
I don't count. But I felt like he was like, hey, you don't get it. This feels good. Like, I know it feels good, but
this is the point.
This is the only reason I come here.
Yeah.
So then every time we go by this one specific jet that he can really kind of hold onto the side and really get a good angle on, I'm like, we have this argument where it's like, okay,
JJ, this is supposed to be a lazy river.
So, yeah, he's like, didn't you get? I've been looking forward to this for months. So we kind of had a little. So then like the last time, I'm like, no, we're not going to sit here, and I don't know what to do. So I'm trying to talk to him like an adult, like, we're not going to sit here with your penis on the jet. It's not what we're going to do. So then he, I don't know what he understands, but then he gets mad at me, and then he finally like stomps off, and now he marches in the kids area, full erection. Like, yeah, he's wearing his swimsuit, but it's like sticking straight out. And thankfully, there's like no kids or no nothing, and the lifeguard acted like he didn't see, and so I didn't know what to do. I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is a win.
Well, do you think that the lifeguard noticed that he's special needs?
Well, yeah. By the way he was reacting and yelling at me. JJ, I mean, not the lifeguard.
Sure, yeah. That's funny. Yeah, well, maybe, thank goodness, in a way, like you said earlier, it's more noticeable as he ages.
Yeah. And I do still want to do this bit where we look like because he's got a lot of hair all over his back now and chest and everywhere. He's just like when you think of like a Turkish man or a Middle Eastern man just covered in hair. That's what he looks like. And I've got a little baby face, and so it just looks like some gay couple having an argument. So, yeah.
Yeah. Over who gets the
Who gets
Jets.
the Jets in their nether regions. So it was a real. And then when we left, but he's getting better as far as like there's still baby steps of getting better. For example, we didn't have an argument about the ice cream. This time he just got one ice cream on the way out, which is that's what I'm trying to do. We'll get something. I don't mind getting you. I can't get you an ice cream at the beginning and the end of every activity, every stop. So we have 15 ice creams a day. I can't. It just doesn't. It's not good for you. He's struggling with his weight a little bit. So, like on this one, we got one ice cream. I let him pick what he wanted on the way out. It's great. Sweden is so great too.
Good.
They do weird things where they like, I go to pay, and the lady there goes, well, it's and I don't say he's disabled. I don't say nothing. We just go, hey, two adults, and she goes, well, it's free if you're the caregiver. And then I said, well, I'm his father, and she's like, that's fine. If you're his caregiver, if you're watching him, it's free for you.
Great.
Yeah, but it's just like, and you don't have to. Sometimes one of the things I feel like in the States that really bothered me that we've talked about this before, but is where to get the services he kept getting referred to different doctors when the average non-physician can see if you try to engage him for 2 seconds and he's on his phone watching his cartoons, he's clearly disabled. Yeah. So
right.
I don't know. I felt like that was kind of a nice, sometimes some nice little things. Some people being patient with us, and
that's really nice.
it was a good.
Do you think
week.
that's because there's a higher level of public education? Would you say, like generally people are just like more with it?
I mean, this might be a long kind of whatever discussion, but it's a couple things. I think, first of all, as a society, there isn't as much of it's not as cutthroat, meaning that you don't think like, oh, if I don't get a job as a banker, I'm going to starve. Like there's people, and not just women, there's men who also get into the caregiving at a higher rate than I would think in the States, where it's like, I want to care for the disabled. I want to care, which is like, I mean, at least when I was going to college, I don't remember one person that ever said that. Oh, I want to care for the disabled. That was, I've never heard that. It's more, I want to be a banker. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be playing the NBA. And so from the very beginning, they've established like that. Oh, this is a part of our society that needs care, and you can make a living here. This isn't minimum wage work. You can make a living being a caregiver. You can. So the whole setup is different. And then the lady who pointed that out, clearly there's training at her work that told her, hey, when the disabled people come, because they're going to come, just let the caregiver for free. You don't ask for...
We got the Jets here after all.
When the autistic people come for the Jets. But no, just let him for free. Don't ask him to prove it. Don't ask them for a letter of diagnosis. Stuff like that sometimes where they're like, I don't know if it's because there's more of a thing in the States where people try to take advantage or what. And then if they did that, they think maybe too many people would say they're on the spectrum and want to get it for free. I don't know. But just the way they've set up. So this lady's clearly been trained. And then when I went back this time, a different lady was like, yeah, it's free if you're, because I was like, one time I was here and they said to you, like, yeah. So I don't know. And that too, it was a public bath or whatever you call it anyway. So it was only $10 to get in anyway. So it wasn't like, but all the jets you can have for $10.
That's nice. That is nice. I think that's an episode, right?
Yeah, I talked about it a lot, but it was a busy week.
I love a JJ episode. Yeah. Those are great updates.
So he's doing good. There's a problem with his car we need to have fixed. I could keep going, but it was a good week.
Is the car going to be okay?
Car's gonna be fine. It needs to have the alternator changed, I think, and so.
Oh, that's about $300. I know that. from the Silver Bullet days.
That car I begged you not to buy that you insisted to buy.
Yeah, I put in a couple alternators in there.
A couple.
Yeah, 1 year, 2 alternators. Anyway.
Yeah, well, one of the aides is like, oh, we just fixed something last year. But I'm like, yeah, but it's a 20-year-old car. If we fix one thing a year, that's still great. That's okay. Let's say it's $400. Great, but the car's paid for. It's like,
yeah.
it's 20 years old. Things are gonna.
Yeah, it's some rubber
Yeah.
cracks. Well, love you guys. Why don't you follow Kirk and I? I'm at Mr. Graham K. Kirk is at Kirk Smith Comedy. On the social media stuff, you could follow us on our various YouTube pages, our respective YouTube pages.
Facebook would help me.
I'm at youtube.com/Graham K Comedy. Check out my new special if you haven't already. Views are stalled, and so we need you guys to pick it up for me.
Just run it in the
my new
background.
comedy special.
Listen, you guys are at work.
Great. Yeah, just
Pick it up, click it.
Yeah.
It will help the algorithm for Grandma.
yeah, and give it a like and in a comment.
I love this guy.
That's
He's
free.
the best.
That's right. Graham K live in a bowling alley on YouTube. I'm very proud of it. Kirk Wood. Oh, also I want to
Sounds
say
like an episode
we're going
of
to release
like
this
JJ
pretty
would have.
soon.
But anyway,
This-
go ahead.
This weekend, on December 9th and 10th, I'm going to be at the Dallas Comedy Club. So if you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, December 9th and 10th, 2022, come check me out. Also, December 23rd, if you're in Ottawa, come check me out. And also, if you're in Toronto, come check me out December 29th. All the tickets are available at grahamk.com. All right.
One quick thing. Sorry to cut you off, Graham. February 11th, I'm going to have do a little one-man show in just off Times Square on 53rd Street. The new Grizzly Pear is opening, and I want to have my own little show. 8 o'clock, Saturday night, February 11th. I know it's a little ways out there, but if you're in the New York area, I'd love to have you come out, guys. Sorry, that's my one plug.
Nice. Well, guys, that's another episode. Thanks for listening.
Have a great week, guys. You can do it.